Okay, welcome back to the curve. And if you've been following this coronavirus thing, maybe you've seen these images of sprayers out in the streets of, let's see, Loyang. I should have probably looked up the name and the pronunciation. And I thought it was a curious image. I thought I'd go ahead and make a video. And if you know anything about mites, the word mites, I brought it up in previous videos. Essentially, mites is when a organism, a virus in this particular situation, can live in a dead inanimate object such as leather or maybe just something that's been in contact with the virus. So nonetheless, if you look at the early press releases when this virus was in the hundreds of deaths in China, a press release did say that the formites can exist after incineration. And the one thought I had about this is, I wonder if the below standards for air quality finally nipped China in the butt with regards to their incinerating techniques. How well are their incinerators cleaned and the air is cleaned, the smoke is cleaned before it exits the building. And after seeing this, obviously a reason for concern for them that this thing might just be circulating back into the air once the deceased with the concentrated virus have been incinerated. The other thing that came to mind is that Shanghai is going back to work. There may have been individuals that didn't declare or weren't quite sick enough to be in a hospital, and they're going to be touching products that will be shipped all over the world, and maybe even within less than 9 days. And that would make me wonder, can they carry formites and the virus? So the hunger for Chinese products uh, here in my home are going to be limited, and I certainly wouldn't want to open anything that I did order or may order soon um, right away, knowing the lifespan. I'm pretty sure this is good data with regards to the 9 days the virus living on services. The other thing that came to mind is what are we going to deal with here in the future? Because eventually H1N1 it got out of control. It made its rounds. The deaths for that were just a little bit higher than the flu, enough to be concerning. And it's probably now a part of our flu season, and it might actually be why we're having a higher death rate. I haven't checked into that information, so certainly don't quote me on it, but they are talking that this coronavirus could be part of our flu season as well. And I'm convinced that's going to be the case because we have things that we can't govern, we can't stop, such as legal activity. And I kind of was curious, so I checked out the different locations and ports where people actually get smuggled, and I found an interesting information here. It talked about three different ports. One actually was Texas, and that's via the Panama Canal. One's Houston, let's see, that's Houston, Texas. That's Oakland and Seattle. So they got 19, 20, and 37 days respectively. You can kind of guess where those numbers are coming from with regards to the distances. And the general number this gentleman used was 12 knots. He was a seafaring gentleman, so he knows his distances. And let's see, the last real case in the United States from travel was the 11th or the 6th of February. And we've been pretty much in the clear since then. I did a logarithmic scale, and I predicted that if by the 11th we didn't have an additional three cases in the United States, that we might be out of the woods for any outbreak, unless, of course, the government's hiding these other cases. If there's any other cases, then I'm going to hope that there just isn't. But nonetheless, we should start preparing. I'm sure there's going to be a time where they're going to shut things down, maybe like they do already when the norovirus hits, when the flu hits. They'll shut schools down for 1 or 2 days. They'll have everybody clean. And so this type of thing isn't exactly new to us. It's just the severity could be higher or lower. And we're going to guess the severity of this is probably a little bit higher. Chinese, very prideful people. They're very good at lying on the political end. It's just politics. Uh, no reason to take it personal, but just to be prepared, because I would definitely guess there would be a second round of this, given that there is illegal human trafficking trade. This other article did come to mind, and it does say that the coronavirus could spread through pipes. So I kind of wondered how well their HVAC systems are, and we all know that viruses are smaller than most particles. So I kind of wondered also if the filtration systems in China are as good as, say, the Carnival cruise systems. And you're kind of seeing the effectiveness of their systems of being able to filtrate the virus out and contain it within rooms of sick. Because if it wasn't effective, I think the numbers would dramatically go up. But those are also things that are concerning, because there may be apartment buildings in China that have some very concerning things that they'll find out. It looks like the government has activated the military on this as their medical teams. So all of this, it looks like I've read that all of this can be and probably will be generally censored in state secrets, because it's now a military operation there for them, as it would be for us. So there's some interesting information to think about. So stay informed, keep your hands cleaned, always have a short stock of food in case that day comes where you just kind of got to stay home and get things done. Myself, my son is homeschooled, and I have recently actually had to go to the library. And I know our government is closely monitoring this, because I've seen an interesting little donation box of, they're asking for old toothbrushes and floss kits. And for me, I don't think the plastic is valuable enough to think that you'd set that up in the library. But the obvious thing for me would be the reservoir that those things would have. Let's see what the community is carrying. And, from that, they can take any toothbrush in there or every toothbrush and test it and see the pool of specimens that's in the community, and see how healthy we are, or how much in need we are of this and that, or, I'm sure they can detect just about anything once they get those specimens together. And like I said, with the information, they would have to collect those every 9 days. So I'm kind of curious. I might actually do some investigating and go over there and talk to them, see what's going on, and just out of simple curiosity, always feeding the brain. So feed your brain, don't let panic set in, and definitely keep the faith. Jesus saves. Thanks for watching.